more than 1200 yuan, is the highest in history. Then it fell to 900 yuan.
It rises again.
This is crazy gold. Some people say that this is buying gold in troubled times. War, plague, financial crisis, currency over issue. The world is chaotic and the gold is gone. But for more essential reasons. In fact, it is hidden in a financial history and business example that spans thousands of years. And it was just before the conversation. Let's start with a fun thing. Did you know that Zimbabwe issued a banknote with a face value of 100 trillion? Later, this 100 trillion banknote. But I can't buy an egg. This is not a story. This is what really happened. Why does currency suddenly become worthless? Because of every penny in your pocket. Essentially, an IOE regardless of RMB, US dollar, euro. In fact, it is all a commitment of the state. Promise that you can exchange money for fixed goods. Everyone recognizes the credit of this country. Only then will the value of money be recognized. That is, I believe that you can pay back this. But since it is an IOU, there is an extreme possibility it's not back. Fiscal bankruptcy, the economy collapsed.
The government collapsed.
The odds are slim, but not zero. It's like the golden age supplement. At this time, the gold left the factory. Gold does not rely on the credibility of any institution. Its very existence is value. This consensus spans thousands of years. All classes, races, and nations. It has never changed. But how did such a strong consensus come from? Let's assume a scenario. In ancient times, you are a shepherd. I am a rabbit. You want to trade a sheep for a few rabbits. You think a sheep is worth 4 rabbits. I say a maximum of 3, talking about 3.5. But how to teach 3.5 rabbits? This is the biggest problem with bartering. The price cannot be precise. Extremely high transaction costs. So we need a universal scale. It is equal to a sheep. It is also equal to 3 rabbits. It is also equivalent to 3 golden eyes. This is money. The scientific name is general equivalent. So, what to use as a ruler? Shells, grains, and cloth have all been tried. Guess what wins in the end? Precious metals. Why? The shell will crack, the grain will expire, fabric will be worn out, but gold and silver will not. It does not rot, can be divided. Place the ground evenly. The most important thing is scarcity. It comes with its own value. So the consensus that gold is valuable, humanity confirmed it very early. Gold was used as currency. It is also a thing that has lasted for thousands of years. But problems also arise. The gold letter is too heavy. Bulk business. There are tens of thousands of vehicles at every turn. Hundreds of thousands. Transportation, security, huge engineering. So what to do? Song Dynasty merchants came up with a brilliant solution. Deposit gold in a lucky bank. Take a voucher with the amount written on it. Rely on this certificate. You can exchange it for real money across the country at any time. This is Igluon, one of the earliest banknotes. Hundreds of years later, the same logic has developed in the UK. The treasury is full of gold. Use this as collateral. Print out silver rods. Kanemoto position. Under the gold motor position, currency is actually a gold exchange coupon. You believe in the pound. The essence is still to believe in gold. The age of discovery. British warships, one ship after another, sailed to the world. The belief that gold is wealth, it also spread all over the world. This set of rules looks impeccable, but there is a loophole. How much money can you print? It all depends on how much gold you have. Then there was a big earthquake, war, plague. The country urgently needs money. What to do? If it is a non-gold standard country, the government can introduce taxes by issuing additional currency. Use the collective wealth of the people to deal with emergencies. But what about the gold standard country? Looking at the little gold in the vault, I can only say sorry. During the interwar period, European and American countries have encountered such problems. The burden of military expenditure is too heavy. But there are not enough gold reserves, so almost all European countries participating in the war, all of them have essentially suspended the gold standard, started printing money secretly. World War II ended. All countries are burdened with huge debts as a result. The old rules are full of holes. Need to rebuild. Who is on it? The United States said I was coming because the United States sells materials by selling arms. Earned 70 of the world's gold. So in Bretton Woods, the United States has proposed a plan. Only my dollar continues to be pegged to gold. I promised $35 for an ounce of gold at any time. Your other countries are pegged to the US dollar. This is the Bretton Woods system. Gold is the bottom anchor. The US dollar is the middle anchor. All currencies are pegged to the US dollar. On the surface, the United States has lost. In fact, the United States made a promise in exchange for huge profits from the whole world using dollars. Countless countries need dollars for international trade. It is equivalent to having been lending interest-free loans to the United States. Sounds good, but it's still the old problem. If the dollar is much harder, more than gold, what to do? 1960, the United States was deeply involved in the Vietnam War, plus large-scale social welfare. Deficits and inflation are getting worse. The United States has no choice. You can only use the old way, over-issuing us dollars. There are more and more dollars. Other countries have gradually discovered it. French President Charles de Gaulle. The privileged status of the dollar has been publicly questioned many times. Even sent warships directly to the United States. Transport the gold back to Paris. Other countries have followed suit. US gold reserves, more than 70% of the world after World War II. It fell sharply to more than 30%, seeing that the vault is about to be emptied. The United States can't stand it. In 1971, then US President Nixon announced, from today, the dollar is no longer committed to gold. This is the Nixon shock. The whole world is frying. Isn't this a public breach of contract? It is said that at that time, the taxi driver in France directly hung up the sign, no USD charge. From this moment on, all currencies in the world completely decoupled from gold. From then on, currency is supported only by national credit. Why is the dollar still the strongest? Because everyone believes the US government will not mess around. Why did Zimbabwean players become fat? Because Zimbabwe is completely bankrupt for the government's credit. We have officially entered the era of credit money. Okay, now let's go back to the very beginning of the question. Why do you say buy gold in troubled times? Because today, all the currencies in the world are only credit money. There is a fundamental weakness in this system. It is built on human commitment, and humans make mistakes. The government will print money indiscriminately. Banks will go bankrupt. The country will fight. History has repeatedly proved it. In extreme cases, any man-made currency can be zeroed in value in a short period of time. Gold has two characteristics that can never be replicated by credit currencies. First, it cannot be increased out of thin air. The stock is more than 200,000 tons. That's all there is to add more than 3,000 tons every year. Second, the global consensus on gold cannot be broken in the short term, thousands of years. Humans think gold is valuable. This is already an unbreakable ideological rigidity. Then many people will ask, so should I buy gold? I can't answer this question. Buy or not, buy as much as you want. When to buy depends on your personal asset structure and judgment on the future. But at least through this video, I can share some opinions. 1. Gold is the shadow of credit. The reserves of gold are fixed. International gold prices rose. The essence is not that gold is more valuable. Instead, the banknotes we price it have become cheaper. 2. Gold is insurance, not stocks. Think about gold with the logic of buying insurance. It is more accurate than the logic of stock trading. Buying insurance is not to make a fortune. It is for extreme situations to be guaranteed. The same is true for gold. 3. Abandon predicting short-term ups and downs. Understand the long-term logic. The long-term logic of gold is the letter-to-money system established by mankind. There is something inherent, indelible vulnerability, and gold is a hedge against this vulnerability. How expensive hedging is. It all depends on how severe the vulnerability is, whether it's intuitive or not. This long-term logic has not changed today. It will also be difficult to change in the foreseeable future. After all, it really jumps up and down. It was never that piece of silence, heavy gold. It's our confidence in those colorful banknotes. Pay attention to Liu Ran. Lower the cognitive threshold of business.